Our top story tonight focuses on President Joe Biden. Bill, you don't like this side profile?
Look at that straw in the back.
It's giving Ichabod.
It's giving like geriatric, centenarian, like
John Adams.
John Quincy Adams. This is not it. This is not it.
President Joe Biden has begun a crucial week for his reelection bid by addressing growing criticism within his own party. As some Democrats push for him to step aside, Biden is doubling down on his commitment to run. He's not giving up that easy. Phoning in to NBC's Morning Joe on Monday, President Biden took a firm stand against his critics, daring them to challenge him at the upcoming convention. Here's what President Biden had to say on the Morning Joe radio show on MSNBC.
And presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden calling in to Morning Joe right now. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Mika, I'm more than presumptive. I'm going to be the Democratic nominee. I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention. You know, on Europe, the polls are wrong in France. They're also right. There's no right wave or tide here in America.
So that last part was a little challenging, but he had a little trouble. He also explained his performance at the debate, saying it was past exhaustion. He was actually sick.
You know, you say you were exhausted, and I know you've said that before as well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked them if they did a COVID test because they were trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
Yeah.
What?
When you're 900 years old, you got to watch them colds. They turn into pneumonia, and then that snatch you on out.
That pneumonia don't play. And about the waning support that people are saying exists, Biden basically says it's all a media myth.
You haven't seen the fall off in the polls. You haven't seen the reports of discontent in the Democratic Party, House Democrats, Senate Democrats.
I've seen it from the press.
Oh, let me say one say it to his face. You know what time it is.
They definitely don't say it to his face because they just talk behind his back. Here was the White House press room and what the reporters had to say behind Biden's back.
He's absolutely running.
Yeah. Well, he's saying that, and I'm sharing with you his view.
And we would invite the president to come here and tell us that directly.
Noted, Kelly.
But
he's awake.
That's inappropriate.
As you heard from your colleague, the president of the WHA, that's inappropriate. Thank you, Kelly.
How dare you?
Was that inappropriate? I mean, this is why they don't invite.
What do you mean? Was that inappropriate, Dex? You're talking about the president of the United States.
It was funny.
It
was funny, and y'all did say last week that he only works.
He ain't no comedian. He's a journalist. What are you talking about? Funny?
Right, you got to be funny.
What's there to be funny about?
You're not here.
Tell me one week that the person is from 8 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. I think that I have the right to ask, like, oh, are they awake at this point when it's 10 o'clock? I don't know. I just want to know if he's awake. I don't know. Like, this is why I like Donald Trump a little bit, because he brings humor to it.
And a little bit. Make it a very little bit, okay?
Okay, a very little bit.
It's getting close, Dax. Like, it's getting close to election season. You can't be joking like this no more. You gotta temper it.
Don't do your usual thing.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Y'all, not too much, right? However, right? Not only was that inappropriate, I'm going to lean in a bit.
Okay.
This wouldn't happen under Nancy's house.
Wouldn't.
Nancy would get on that phone call and she'd whip them House Democrats and the elite right in line, and she'd build that house up, and she'd run Joe into the ground if she had to, because he is the nominee for the Democratic Party. And if you don't like it, you'll fall in line, or I'm going to put you on the EPA committee, and you'll be overseeing patches of grass for the next 4 years of your term, and your constituents will be trying to figure out why you ain't done nothing for them. And then you out of a job.
That's how it works.
Need to get them hips back in that office and gear up. And he needs to do better and stop being a
spineless. Nancy's just going to lay down the hammer.
The president did speak tonight at the NATO summit, and he sounded great there. Did anyone check it out? Because he did sound good there. Very clear, very good to go. And it was encouraging to see. But with all this in mind, do you think Biden is doing as bad as the media says?
Hold on a second.
Or is this all a ploy to get Trump in the White House for ratings?
Both. I think it's both. I do think we have eyes.
Not addressing that, Bill.
we have eyes. So we do see that Joe is not as sharp as he used to be. Like we see that. Like he's not as sharp as he used to be. If Obama was picking a vice president and Joe was in this condition, he would not pick Joe Biden. Like that's a fact. But I also think this is a talking point that was created. Actually, I know that this was created by the Republicans because immediately after the debate, Republicans were on the floor and they were saying that. And to hear Democrats echo this is insane. Like y'all, like I said on the show last week, this is the stupidest play that y'all could do. Like Joe said, he is the nominee. He is the person. He's the guy. Get behind him because the more
when you think about it, the reason that they will want him out is because he beat Trump. Like he's the only Democrat, right? Well, that could beat Trump. A lot of people think, right?
And not only that, but it's like you think these people took forever to get to know you guys. You think they're going to get to know another person in less than 6 months? Like it's not going to happen. Like Joe drops out, Trump is the president, and that's just that.
The king. Trump is the king if Joe drops out. Like we need to. Let's be serious for a second, right? People got all of these polls. We need to understand polls don't vote. That's number one. Okay. Number two, in the worldwide scheme of geopolitics, I guess that's the new hit word that everybody's using. The French right, those neo-Nazis and fascists, the ones that are trying to get Trump in office, just lost France. They just lost the election, right? So
England too. They lost a lot of England. England was
and they just lost England. Right. Yeah. So we have got to stop Hakeem Jeffries. If he's going to be the Democratic leader, he needs to get his party in shape. He needs to whip them into line and call up the whip because there is a minority whip and whip them into line. It's simple as that.
Well, telling a black man to whip is,
it's not. And the reality is, there should not be, and I joke around, right? But when Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House and she was the leader of the Democratic Party, there were no outside phone calls. Nobody was leaking anything to the press because it had to go through her. Hakeem Jeffries step up and needs to build the House the way it ought to be built and stop being stop.
Yeah, stop. Just get it together. Okay.
Get it together. Stop being spineless.
All right. Ty, as someone who isn't as plugged in media-wise as the rest of us, I'm not saying you're unplugged, but you just don't care.
I don't really like that. Go ahead.
Do you think that Biden is in trouble? Do you think it's an actual concern he should have as far as his current position?
No, Biden's not in trouble. Like we said, that's all we have.
Okay.
Let me say one more thing. I also think it's kind of insane, though, that the conversation since the last debate is should Biden step down or not? We're not debating his policies or anything that he's done. We're literally debating his health. Whereas Donald Trump is getting away scot-free. Nobody's saying anything about anything that he has going on.
And we'll talk about that more in a second.
Also, I got one more thing. It was a little nasty that Joe Biden got up there and said, "Oh, the elites are calling me." Not y'all though. Y'all cool.
Not you guys. I don't want you to think.
Not you guys.
That was a warning shot too. You better not do it.